Madam Secretary, I mean, that was a lot there. Certainly you open by saying that, those things don't sound strange. And you're right, they don't sound strange. A political campaign is going to try and drive Election Day registration if they think that is a method for victory. The idea that everything was perfect in all 168 other towns, I didn't say that. I don't know. I think that Election Day.
That either, but, okay.
Well, I understand, but you kind of put that on me that I was suggesting that.
Okay.
And again, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm merely giving you feedback from what was in the news. You're the Secretary of State, and respectfully, when it's in the news that there's a lot of discussion and concern over the results of an election because of an influx of same-day voter registration. And the process, in my view, leaves a lot to be desired. It allows people to show up basically without the ability to verify a lot of information and vote and have their vote counted. Election Day registration, I think, was created in the last, maybe 6 or 7 years, because I remember debating it and voting it on the floor with a good chairman over here for quite a while, and I never liked the process. So at any rate, again, I'll leave it there. I'm concerned that you're making a lot of recommendations, which I think for the majority of I think are good recommendations. But I'm just curious why some things that were clearly newsworthy are not being addressed. For example, I mean, there's folks that would suggest that if we required photo identification with absentee ballots, it might help, or to have some sort of a verification process to determine, based on signature or some other mechanism that might solve some of these problems. But certainly, setting up a system that would allow a polling location to manage that influx of a large number of same-day registration voters in a way that we could be confident that those are legitimate votes is something that I think we need to address and make that happen. But it appears that that's not a concern that you've addressed. Maybe because you don't think it's a real concern, or what is it?
It sounds like you're making an appeal for universal access to absentee ballots, which would solve some of those issues of same-day registration. But I just want to say for the record, because it sounds like you might be saying I'm not doing my job, the news reports on what people say, not necessarily facts. So do I read the news and make policy decisions based on a newspaper article? Absolutely not. Do I make policy decisions based on facts? Yes, or at least better data. As I mentioned at the outset, this is our bill about technical fixes to early voting. There are many other bills before this committee, and I'm sure you'll see me again to talk about them.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Certainly, you and I have a friendly relationship. We don't always agree on policy. That's for sure. But the fact of the matter is that I'm certainly not. I'm being as nice to you as I could possibly be.
Me too.
And I'm not suggesting that you're not doing your job at all. I'm just suggesting that this, for me, is a widely publicized concern. It's one that has been brought up in this committee year after year by the minority. But as you know, there is a distinct balance of power issue here, and some of the minority's concerns are not addressed.